Hi everyone, welcome to a brief orientation video that is essentially going to orient you to the chapters that you will be working on here in EDD 813. So you will find in your syllabus and throughout the course that there are two chapters you're working on. Chapter 2, Conceptualizing the Problem of Practice, and Chapter 3, Your Theory of Improvement. So great news. Chapter 2, Conceptualizing the Problem of Practice, this should sound familiar. You wrote this chapter back in EDD 808. That was your kind of year one signature assignment, kind of final benchmark for year one. So you have your chapter 2. The goal now, a whole year later, is to make all of your final edits and refinements to your chapter 2, primarily your fishbone diagram and your systems and processes sections. And you will see more details for this in the actual assignment. Again, this is just an orientation video, like here's what we're doing in this course. And that's because you were probably told back in year one, and it's probably been repetitive a little bit throughout the entire program, of how iterative some of this work is, meaning that, as we continue to talk to our stakeholders and as we continue to get some clarity on our problem of practice, you have likely refined your fishbone diagram a little bit, or you might even have a little bit more clarity around your system and the processes that are related to your system. So you'll make some final edits there. There are some supports there for you there's like a chapter 2 template. Even though you already have your chapter 2, you can probably just kind of copy and paste some of those things over to the template to ensure that you are following APA 7th style guidelines, particularly with how you are labeling your figures now that we're getting into chapter format. So figures in chapter 2 will be titled figure 2.1, figure 2.2, figure 2.3, and so on. So we'll make sure that it's kind of all up to speed. And it's quite possible that you had instructor feedback in EDD 808, kind of in those final weeks, that you might have already made some of those adjustments, or you need to take a look at those comments and adjust them now. So you have already written chapter 2. You are just making sure it's polished. So maybe you're tweaking just a few things. We're also going to get into chapter 3, Theory of Improvement. Here you're primarily refining your ideas so that they align with your bounded time frame and your instructor feedback from EDD 810. You have already been through all of the steps of developing a theory of improvement. You did that in EDD 810 with your paper, I think it was called your Comprehensive Improvement Plan. So you went through all of those steps already. But now that you know your bounded time frame, and you'll learn more about that in this course, and maybe another orientation video, you now know when you will be implementing your PDSA cycle. That time frame might be really helpful in even deciding which chain cycle you choose, right? And so again, you are just refining your ideas and writing them up so that they are polished. You've done a lot of this legwork already. You're just kind of refining it. Yeah. We are going to write this chapter step by step in this course, and I do have a chapter 3 template for you and a chapter 3 kind of guidebook for you, so that we can ensure that chapter 2 and chapter 3 are meeting like dissertation format, APA 7 style, etc. You'll find that there's some due dates for these they're kind of they're a little feedback oriented. So chapter 2 is due in week 1. So make some of your edits and revisions. You'll get some feedback. Final submission, if you need it, is due in weeks 2-3. So meaning like week 3, the end of the module 2-3. Chapter 3, your first chunk, we're going to chunk this up. Your first chunk is going to be due in weeks 2-3. Or really like week 3, right? Your second chunk is going to be due in week 6, and then your final kind of complete submission is going to be due in week 8. There are specific guidelines as to what I mean in those chunks, or what your dissertation chair needs for those chunks. So take a look at those assignments to help orient you. But these are the two chapters that we will be completing in EDD 813.